Like everybody's talking about it. Everyone's got a lot of fears around it, worrying about it taking your jobs, and it probably will for some people. And but the one thing AI cannot take is you, because we all have unique individual skills and traits that nobody else possesses, much like our fingerprints. And AI is great for collecting data. It's great for helping you schedule and get organized. And for me, it's wonderful because I do use it when it comes to writing, because sometimes my words and thoughts are very busy and all over the place, and I need to help organize them. But they're my thoughts. They're my thoughts that I'm putting in there. And the other thing, too, is you don't get the real personal experience with AI. So AI is to be used as a tool, maybe not to be feared. Of course, we don't really know the ramifications on what it's going to do to the earth and how it's going to affect our climate and resources and things like that. But everything right now is so based in fear of not getting enough likes, getting enough attention, having enough money. There's the haves and the haves nots. And we're seeing so much fear driven based media, I guess. Maybe that's my algorithm right now. That's kind of a lot of what I'm seeing, especially like on LinkedIn concerning AI, a lot of videos on YouTube or AI. Honestly, if I think something's AI on a video, I just don't watch it, because I don't want to see content that's made strictly from AI unless it's useful. But generally speaking, I like to hear people talk, because I like that connection you get with humans. And so that's why I thought that would be a good topic to talk to you today about, because what we do at the Wellness Garden Toolshed, we really address the mind, body, and soul. I work in the salon during about 4 days a week, and that's the body, right? Because, if you feel like you look good and you dress better or your hair's better, there's a real psychology of when you feel like you look good, your energy exudes that, and people are attracted to that. And then we have your mind. We want to talk intellectual stuff. We want to learn. My clients have been with me for, some of them 37 plus years, and others at least 20 years. They don't stay with me because I'm some great hairstylist. Yes, I have skills. Yes, I can do hair and teach whatever. But my point is, there are a lot of people that can do that. So they stay with me because of mental stimulation. We always have really good conversations. I love my clients. And we talk about things that are a little deeper than just surface stuff. Now, some people like the surface stuff. That's fine. My clients are drawn to me for my particular set of skills. What are your specific set of skills that you think no one else has, or that your personality type or whatever it is can offer something to somebody? That's what we're all about. And then we have the soul. I believe in energy work. I show it time and time again through the cards of how it's more of a prescription instead of a prediction, because we all have free will and energy can shift. It's like not even really that woo. The more I'm getting into this and the more research I've done and looked at papers and neuroscience and things like that, I feel like science is really catching up to what the mystics have always known and talked about. Just the other day, I was talking with my son, and he was kind of saying like, oh, people make fun of people that do what you do, like online. And I'm just like, wow, how successful are those people? Interesting, huh? And yes, I'm sure there's a few successful people out there that do poo-poo this. But at the same time, my son is a musician. And he wrote a score for this play at the Maverick. So it's an original score, original play, and it's The Return of Zorro. And it's at the Maverick Theater, but it's not playing now, but that's where it started and came from. And he released it on Spotify. And he was like, wow, let's see if we can get to 10,000, within the month, by the end of the month. And it was like around 6,000 streams or something, which, it's not a ton, but for a soundtrack, It was never what he thought it was going to be. And I'll be darned if it didn't surpass 10,000 like in 2 days for the end of the month. So you put it out there, you have a belief around it, you think it's going to do something, or you're not even sure what the outcome is, but you know somebody's going to do something, and then bam, I'm like, well, that worked out for you, so why are you poo-pooing what I say? Not to mention, anytime things go awry, I can't tell you how many people call me to read cards for the situation to see how it's going to be, or what some of the outcomes can be, or what needs to be done to reach a certain outcome. So don't poo-poo the woo-woo. And science is catching up with that. But again, there's this fear-based thinking, the AI, people not trusting what's really out there anymore. And there's so much content, it's hard to sift through everything, right? So I guess my point is, I think AI is going to be really good for many industries that have been kind of shut down for a little bit. Because ever since COVID, in the lockdown, they're finally getting out. I feel like we're getting back to normal, but people want that human connection. That's the kind of species we are. Sure, there's an outlier here or there that wants to be a hermit and go live in the mountains and in a cave by themselves. Sure, there's always going to be outliers. But generally speaking, we are a species that likes community. We live in communities. That's kind of how we roll. It's kind of like that saying, it takes a village. It truly does. Doing things on your own isn't easy. And it's much easier when you have support from friends and community and all of those things, which kind of takes me back to, who are you hanging around too? Because they can influence your beliefs on things. So if everybody's talking, like we started out with AI, right? AI doesn't give you that human connection. It gives you data and it regurgitates stuff. I'm regurgitating things that I hear too. So maybe, that's how that goes. But it's the fact that we have that little extra element. We have that little bit of that consciousness that AI doesn't have. We have that little bit of creative juices that we can add our own flair to it, not taking from other people, but your own perspective on things. So yeah, I use AI. Not gonna lie, I put some stuff in there, to organize my thoughts, or I research stuff up and see where it comes from and those kind of things. But it's not something to fear. And again, get curious whenever fear comes into the way, because curiosity kind of starts you to do problem solving. And anytime you're problem solving or solution seeking, that puts you into a different energy vibration space, and it actually raises your vibration. And then what does reticular activation do? It is your brain helping you deem what's important, what you're focused on, so that more things will come up in your sphere that you'll recognize. Let me give you an example of that. So when I was first writing my memoir, Manifesting Me, A Story of Rebellion and Redemption, I kind of got at a stuck point. I was stuck because I was using this one particular vanity publishing company, which I didn't know anything about what was what. And so they wanted to start asking for money and doing all these things. I'm like, something doesn't seem right. Well, one of my clients, my hair clients, she happened to work at Barnes & Noble's, where she always brought in the authors and who was going to come in and do all those things. And she's like, hey, I have somebody coming in from She Write Press, publishing, that you might want to talk to. And so literally she brought that person to me. Now, because I was focused on, how do I get this ball rolling? What do I need to do next? My client comes in. I respond to what she's saying, because you have to take action from the law of attraction, bringing her in, knowing somebody, and then me responding by going to that event, meeting, one of the founders of She Write Press, and then got my book published. And so, AI can't do that for you. Okay. AI, like, I make candles. I have candles back here. I Googled how to make them and what the proper ratio was to scent, to wax, to all that kind of stuff. I wish AI could have made my candles for me. Did they help me with my labels? Sure. I did it on Canva, and some of the writing on there is a little bit like, they clean it up with the AI. But they didn't make my candles. I had a lot of trial and error on these candles, let me tell you, and it's not an easy task. One thinks it is, and it's very messy. But again, there's going to be things that are never going to be replaced. And sure, maybe making candles might be down the road, but I'm not in the real business of, manufacturing candles. I wish, I could find somebody that did it the way I wanted to do it, but I don't know. I kind of enjoyed the process. It just is a little messy and time consuming. But nevertheless, I got to hand make stuff. And I think that's where AI is going to do a great service to those in the creative arts, because people are going to want to see people that can actually do what they say they're going to do. Now, I got to get my website a little bit more dialed in to have a free consultation so people can see how cards work, just to see that, I'm a real person. AI can help you make the courses and organize them, but most people want somebody they can talk to when it comes to mentorship, get that feeling, that connection that people want. And same in the music world. Like, live music is, I think, going to kind of, make a comeback, because people want to know that if you say you can make this music, they have that new whatever Sono music or whatever, and you can't play what you just made. Like, you're acting like you can, but you can't. People don't want that. They want authenticity, they really do. Yeah, in some ways, like I said, AI is going to be great. It's going to help you do those tasks that are kind of mundane and all that. But there's certain things it can't do, and that is it can't have that personal touch, that connection that people are going to crave. Hey, I talk to my AI too, but at the same time, I know that's not a real person behind that. So it can tell you what you've done or what mistakes you've made and all that, but it can't really tell you why you keep repeating them. That's where people come in. That's where my services can come in. But, so I'm curious, are you freaked out about AI, or are you using it and thinking it's pretty cool? Because it does seem like most people use it like a Google search engine, or they want to redecorate their home, or, oh, God forbid, they want to do their hair. That's a fun one, because as a hairstylist and people come in, oh, look at this. This is me and this would look so great. Can you do this? Well, eventually it's going to cost you a lot of money, especially if you've got a lot of color on your hair and you want it out and you want to go back to gray. Please don't come to hairstyles with AI pictures. Pictures help, but don't think you're going to get exactly that. It's almost never going to happen. So anyway, I was just curious about what you all thought and how the energy surrounding AI, what your energy is. Does it have you in fear? One of the other things I want to talk about, see, this is my ADHD going out of control, is that with the AI, what's the one thing that evolution and things, the Darwinism and how things progress, is being adaptable. You gotta keep up with the times and learn things about this instead of have this fear or rebel against it, because you're gonna get left behind, and that's gonna do you a real disservice. Now, a lot of the mundane jobs that people don't really like to do, that are the lower level entry jobs, are probably going to get cut. So what is your specialty? That's the one thing people need to focus on. What is it that you can offer that no machine can offer? Okay? Is it your sense of style? Is it your personality? Can you work on AI? Because Lord knows the people that actually made those things, that's beyond my pay grade. I have no idea how all that stuff works. But I don't have that skill or need it. I have something else. There's a really great book by Seth Godin that I think it's called Purple Cow or something like that. But anyway, it talks about how the Industrial Revolution was all to make people be the same and replaceable. Now you're being replaced with AI. So what makes you unique? What makes you stand out? And what's holding you from standing out? That's where I can help, because what are the blocks holding you? Is it your beliefs from growing up? Is it some trauma that you've dealt with in the past? I hear so much about trauma and again, I'm like a therapist, and I have been to therapy many, many times. My upbringing was not usual. Maybe for Gen X it was, but there was a lot of stuff going on that was kind of crazy. A lot of abuse, a lot of violence. Back in the day, I'm a Gen Xer, so my generation grew up with, what was it, the no fault divorce. So women were getting divorced, but they were also kind of owned at the same time. And so men could beat up their wives. So a lot of my friends' moms had black eyes. That was kind of a common thing. And, and I've also witnessed a parent beating up my friend. She's a girl, and she was 9 or 10, and her dad's punching her and kicking her, and he broke her thumb. And we had to tell my mom that I broke her thumb doing a cartwheel, because we were just afraid if anybody said anything, you get in trouble, and then more havoc would be bestowed on my friend. So we kept our mouth shut. And that was kind of a common event in my day. So some of those things were crazy, which when you grow up with crazy, you're used to crazy. It's familiar. So you have to break some patterns. So what are those patterns that you need to break in order for you to shine? I do have a free shine method on my website at wellnessgardentoolshed.com. You can download it. It kind of gets to the bottom and the root, just kind of gets it rolling. And on that, you can, if there's any questions you have, you can email me some stuff and I can answer those and we can connect that way. But it's just really interesting how all this stuff works. I was fortunate that even though I had a lot of the crazy stuff from murders in the neighborhood and cults and all that kind of stuff, but there was one thing I was taught. I was taught how to be resourceful. Now, maybe that was my personality coming into this world and having those experiences, but it's also because of going to this crazy church that kind of was a cult. They actually taught me the power of prayer, which is kind of like the law of attraction. It's also about focusing on what you want and then achieving it because you believe it to be true when you have that faith. And yes, things can knock your faith all the time. So anyway, I digress, but I want you to think about what your beliefs are surrounding AI. How can you use it to your advantage, but keep your own uniqueness at the same time? Because it will never replace the individual you. Not one of us are exactly alike. I think even twins probably have a little something that's not exactly alike. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that. But my point is, you look at all the trees and all the diversity there is in the world with plants, animals, people, all of that. We're all unique and individual. So yes, the AI can copy a lot of things. And most of us, even me in the personal development world and in the woo-woo world, I've used a lot of what people have said and repeated it, but I have a different style with it. I might be a little rough around the edges sometimes. Yes, I swear, and yes, I get mad, and yes, I get into situations. Not things are always peaches and cream, and I know that's how that is to be, but as a whole, everything's pretty great. So with that being said, I'm going to pull a card, or maybe 3, we'll see, from the Oracle, Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. And let's see what message we have for today. That could be a prescription, not a prediction, to go through your day and how you can use AI and what your feelings are on that. Okay, so first card is regeneration. Okay, I love when this stuff comes up because regeneration is things are dying off, certain jobs are going to be dying off, but that promotes new growth, right? Whenever something kind of dies, it's the cycle of life, and we all are going through these cycles. The Industrial Revolution did it to the seamstress when they started having factories and canning farmers and people that would sell their stuff. And then we had factory farming and canning and all that kind of stuff. People had to learn to adapt, and then new things came about, okay? So regeneration is the topic. So let's not fear the AI. All right, and the 2 supporting cards for that is we have truth be told, okay? The truth is nothing's going away, all right? Once Pandora's box been open, you got to learn to adapt, okay? So that's the truth of it all, We are coming upon a new way, technology, a rebirth of some sort, but you got to acknowledge it. Okay. Don't hide from it. Don't run from it. Don't be scared of it. Adapt. Learn to be adaptable. And let's see what this last card has to say. Clean it up. So cleaning up can mean a couple of things. It can mean like, let's clean up our thoughts. Let's clean up our language. Let's clean up what we are saying about this AI thing. Okay. Let's start not looking at the negative. Like, yes, there's some negative stuff with those data centers and how they infect the environment. But I think China just did something that actually was not hindering the environment. So if we can do that kind of stuff. So again, the old ways are dying off. Okay. So how do you adjust to that? Just listen to it. Don't run from it. Know it's there. Find out the truth of what it is and learn. Okay. The truth be told, it ain't going anywhere. And then clean it up. Clean up your thoughts around it. Okay. Try to look at the positivity around it, how you can use it as a tool, not somebody that's going to replace you, but as a tool. And maybe this is good because maybe you were stuck in that mundane job. Now, what can you do with that? Okay. Maybe you're being called to reach, grow, stretch. And let me tell you, people hate growing. They hate change. They want it, but once it comes around or it's offered to them, they don't like it because it's unfamiliar and your brain likes what's familiar. Okay. It likes what was, what used to be, and all that. That's why people circle back with all their trauma. Trauma is not even happening right now. Okay. You need to rewire that brain and get out of it, because what happened to you when you were a little kid, of course, it's going to affect you. A lot of people have been through a lot of bad stuff. I've witnessed some of it. But you know what? It's not happening to you right now. And see, that's the truth be told. It's not happening right now. So let's go with what's happening in the present moment and deal with it. Okay. So clean up your thoughts around it. And let's remember, we're starting we're ending a phase and we're beginning a new one. So with that, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and share it to whoever wants to see it, or if you think can use it, if they're in this fear state mind of the AI. And we'll get through this. Have a great day.